All right, good morning. My name is Mitch Bates. I am the Chief of Police in Garland, Texas. And I'm here today to provide you an update on the shooting incident that occurred during the Muhammad Art Exhibit and Contest at the Garland ISD Special Event Center on Sunday, May 3rd. This event was hosted and sponsored by an organization outside of the city of Garland and the state of Texas, which simply rented available meeting space at the center. Months earlier, as soon as the event was made known to us, the Garland Police Department began planning and coordinating with other local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, in addition to Garland ISD personnel. While the original attendance was reported to be approximately 200, our latest estimates placed the total attendance for this event at closer to 150, including the numerous media personnel who were permitted inside by the event organizers. Normally, for that size of event, the police security detail would consist of only 2 to 4 police officers, in addition to the Garland ISD security personnel. However, due to the nature of this event and the security concerns surrounding several of the attendees, our police department security detail was increased to 40 police personnel, including numerous members of our SWAT team and Garland Police Department bomb unit, in addition to Garland ISD security personnel, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the ATF, and the FBI. While the exact details of our security plan shall not be disclosed, I believe it is prudent and appropriate to state that the plan was an overwhelming success. As has been previously reported, 1 Garland police officer and 1 Garland ISD security officer were confronted by 2 suspects armed with assault rifles. However, the officer and the security guard were not seated in their police vehicle as initially believed, but were standing outside of the vehicle as it approached. The suspect vehicle stopped in the street at the barricade beyond the outer perimeter of the event, and the 2 occupants exited the vehicle. The suspects immediately began firing with assault rifles at the Garland ISD security officer and the Garland police officer. As you know, the Garland ISD security officer was shot in the leg. He was later treated and released from a local hospital on the same day. The Garland police officer returned fire with his duty pistol and wounded both suspects. Within seconds, 4 members of the SWAT tactical response team responded and also engaged both of the suspects, who continued their efforts to attack those at the location by retrieving additional weapons and ammunition. The SWAT team members responded to these actions by firing their duty weapons, consisting of assault rifles and duty pistols. Both suspects were killed at the scene. Dozens of rounds were fired by the suspects and the officers. The Garland Police Department bomb unit, with the assistance of the ATF, the FBI bomb unit, the Plano Police Department bomb unit, and the DFW Airport bomb unit, spent several hours clearing the scene for possible explosive devices, both within the vehicle and on the 2 suspects. No explosive devices were found. However, several weapons, a total of 3 assault rifles and 3 pistols, in addition to hundreds of rounds of ammunition, were found on the suspects' bodies and in the vehicle. The 2 shooting suspects have been identified as Elton Simpson and Nadir Sufi, both of Phoenix, Arizona. At this time, we have no evidence that there were any other suspects involved in this attack. However, the Garland Police Department continues to work with the FBI, the Texas DPS, and other local, state, and federal agencies to investigate the backgrounds of both suspects. On behalf of all of the members of the Garland Police Department and our entire community of Garland, I would like to thank all of the responding law enforcement agencies who assisted us in a great many ways. There were so many agencies that provided assistance and so many other offers to provide assistance. I feel that I may miss someone, but I would be remiss if I did not recognize these agencies. The FBI Dallas office, who assisted with intelligence gathering, planning, and preparation, logistical and support, staffing prior to and during the event. in addition to the FBI bomb unit and the FBI evidence collection unit after the shooting occurred. The Texas Department of Public Safety, who assisted with intelligence gathering and logistical and support staffing prior to and during the event, and intelligence gathering after the event. The Irving Police Department SWAT team, Plano Police Department and DFW Airport bomb units, and the ATF, which all provided critical support during the most tenuous hours after the shooting when so much was still unknown. The partnerships and the relationships among local, state, and federal law enforcement within North Texas is unlike anywhere in the world. The assistance that all of you have provided us has been tremendous and is evidence of your support. And I could not be more proud of the men and women of the Garland Police Department. Those who participated in the event security, those who participated in the planning and preparation for this event, those in our 911 communication center who handled all of the emergency calls for service for this event, simultaneously handling all the other calls for service for the entire city, those who responded in the aftermath to conduct the investigation and collect the physical evidence. But most deserving of our praise are the 5 Garland police officers and the Garland ISD security officer who put their own lives at great risk by responding to this attack and by engaging the enemy in defense of our community of Garland, our great state of Texas, and our great nation. There are those in society who look to professional athletes, politicians, and others as their heroes. Well, I say to you, look to your police officers. The police officers should be your heroes, the men and women in blue throughout our entire nation who place their lives on the line for all of us on a daily basis. When violence and tragedy occurs, our police officers are the ones who run toward it instead of running away like almost everyone else. These are our true heroes. As you are aware, we have not yet released the names of the police officers involved in this incident. I understand that most of you would like to recognize them as the heroes that they are. However, due to direct and indirect threats for their safety and the safety of their families, we will continue to protect their identities for an undetermined amount of time. The Garland Police Department, the FBI, Texas DPS, and other agencies are continuing to monitor and investigate any potential threats posted through social media or other means. There have also been reports that the Garland Police Department may have had information prior to the event occurring that Elton Simpson and Nadir Sufi may attack this event. These reports are not accurate. No one, not the Garland Police Department, the FBI, the Texas DPS, nor any other agency had any information prior to the event that either suspect may target this event. No information was missed or ignored. To facilitate communication prior to and during this event, our event command post consisted of Garland Police Department assistant chiefs, captains, and tactical lieutenants, in addition to the FBI, the Texas DPS, and others. The identities of the 2 suspects were not known to us until many hours after the shooting occurred. Some reports have indicated that a bulletin was sent to us by the FBI regarding Elton Simpson being a potential threat to the event. This is not accurate as well. The FBI did issue a bulletin, a national bulletin, on Friday, May 1st that was classified for official law enforcement use only, indicating that there were no known credible threats toward this event and indicating what we already knew, that the event was a potential target for an attack based on the nature of the event and its attendees. Further, FBI Director Comey has recently indicated that there are hundreds, possibly thousands of individuals who may be following terrorist propaganda online or through social media. Elton Simpson was simply one of those individuals. On the day of the event and a few hours prior to the event, an email was sent. An email containing a general information bulletin regarding Simpson was sent by an FBI analyst to members of the local FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, which includes one Garland police detective. That email and general information bulletin was one of many emails sent on that day. It did not contain any information that listed Simpson as a potential threat. No one at the Garland Police Department nor anyone at the event command post, including the FBI and Texas DPS personnel, was aware of this informational email prior to the shooting. Please note that the contents of that email would not have prevented the shooting, nor would it have changed the law enforcement response in any fashion. Neither the FBI nor any other agency had any information that Elton Simpson or Nadir Sufi posed a threat to the Garland event prior to the shooting. If such information had been obtained, the FBI, Texas DPS, or any other agency would have notified the event command post for dissemination to all personnel involved. Now, numerous other informational emails were exchanged prior to and during the event. One example involved a suspicious vehicle that was seen in the parking lot of the event center a day or two prior to the event. Further investigation revealed that it was not involved with the event. In fact, the vehicle simply belonged to a parent helping their teenager learn to drive in a large parking lot prior to the driver's license exam. In closing, I must again commend the members of the Garland Police Department and the members of our Garland community for withstanding this attack on freedom now and in the days to come. I would like to thank again the Texas Department of Public Safety, the ATF, our other federal law enforcement agency, our partners, and the many local police departments for their support. But in particular, I must thank the Dallas FBI office for their unwavering support prior to and during this event, and their continued support to help keep our community of Garland and our nation safe from future attacks. And with that, I'll answer a few questions.
Chief, please reconcile, please, FBI Director Comey's statement that there was information passed on Elton Simpson was on the move. Maybe not a threat, maybe not a desire to attack, but he was on the move toward this area.
The best I can explain to you is there's sometimes it's just wording, it's semantics, but we had no information from the FBI or from anyone else that Elton Simpson posed a threat to our event. Yes, sir.
You mentioned in your statement direct and indirect threats to your officers. Has this been social media? People called your police department for threats?
What we've been looking at has been through the internet and social media.
Can you explain to us a little bit of what that bulletin specifically said, and the people at the command post have that bulletin?
The people at the command post did not have the bulletin, but the bulletin was simply information regarding Mr. Simpson and his conduct from many years ago.
Talk about,
I mean, how many bolos do you all get every day? It's not like you get bolos every single day. Talk about that. I mean,
in general, we do get bolos on a regular basis, and whether it's be from our local, state, and our federal partners. This was not intended, this email was not intended to be an awareness of this person or that this person, Elton Simpson, was coming to the Garland event. That was not the intent.
Did the bulletin even mention the Garland event in connection with him?
It did not.
Who all was the 40 officers that you mentioned? Who all, was that all Garland, and was it SWAT and the bomb squad? Can you talk about who all comprised that number?
The 40 Garland Police Department members, we won't disclose all the exact identity, but a significant numbers were from our SWAT team, our bomb unit, and other police personnel. But that 40 only includes Garland Police Department members. That's in addition to FBI, ATF, DPS, and other folks that were present as well.
Chief, you mentioned 5 individuals, Chief, that were part of engaging in gunfire with these individuals. I think early on there was, the focal point was on this one individual with his duty weapon hitting me. Is there clarity now on who actually not only engaged, but actually may have hit and thusly kill those individuals?
All 5 of the officers are heroes. All 5 of them engaged the suspects. As you originally received, as we originally reported, there was the one original officer at the scene who was initially confronted along with the GISD security officer. But again, within seconds, we had 4 members of our SWAT team who were out there, stationed out there. They responded. They also engaged. So all 5 of the officers engaged both suspects.
What was the total time frame? What was the total time frame?
Simply within seconds. Within seconds, this entire thing, all the gunfire, everything exchanged within a matter of seconds.
Had the shooter ever been in a shooting before? The first shooter? Had the first Garland police shooter, traffic officer, ever been in a shooting?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you describe more specifically the contents of that email about Bolton, just so we get a better picture of it? Because I'm just sort of trying to reconcile it in my mind, because you know what Comey said, what the FBI director, it just feels like there's I'm just trying to reconcile it.
Yeah, and the best I guess I can tell you, I mean, it's not for me to disclose the contents of FBI bulletins, but it is a general information bulletin about Mr. Simpson and some of his behavior from many years ago. Again, what Mr. Simpson was one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals that the FBI had looked at prior to and during this event. And it's not only geared toward Garland. You know, of course, as you can imagine, the FBI looked at this to support all of the law enforcement agencies nationwide throughout this. So I look at it as they were simply doing their due diligence with all of those individuals out there. I think there is a little miscommunication on the term bulletin and what that means, and then whether it was sent as an awareness to Garland that Mr. Simpson was coming here, and that was absolutely not the case.
It wasn't a bulletin that said, okay, he's expressed interest in attacking this event, or interest at any, so that bulletin in no way, shape, or form mentioned that event.
It was not intended to inform us or make us aware that Mr. Simpson was potentially targeting this event or connected to the Garland event in any way. It was simply one of many, many individuals that they had looked at.
I've been speaking on Thursday of last week with the director's office. I understand that in the days perhaps leading up, perhaps Thursday, Friday of last week, other names have been given to your department of folks who may have interest in this event. Elton Simpson's name was not part of that initial group of names you were given on Saturday. That was sent with his photo and perhaps the information about the vehicle that he owned and the license plate to that vehicle, which he was not in. Am I correct in understanding my
The FBI did have some information about a potential vehicle that was connected to Mr. Simpson, but that vehicle is still in Phoenix, Arizona, and never left there. So there was some talk about that particular vehicle. That was not the vehicle that the 2 suspects showed up here in Garland, Texas.
So that we understand clearly, and I think this is where we're having a little disconnect. JTTF meets on Friday, talk about your event here on Sunday. Locally, the JTTF meets on Friday afternoon, talks about your event here on Sunday. Here's names of people based on social media and other intel who have expressed some frustration, displeasure with this event. They may have high interest in it. Simpson's name added to that list about 3 hours before all this went down Sunday.
Well, in essence, yes, but here's the thing. Again, no one from the FBI, from any other law enforcement agency, had any information to connect anyone to a potential threat to this event here in Garland.
Right,
they were simply doing their due diligence, looking at these individuals, not only as how it may impact us here in Garland, but nationwide, what these individuals were involved in. But no information regarding Simpson, regarding Sufi, anyone. There was no warning or no potential threat from these individuals to our event.
Right. And lastly, I know there's been a lot of moving parts over the last week, but is it too early to ask what you've learned from this event?
Oh, there's so much that we have learned. And again, one, there's so much to be thankful for. I mean, the coordination among law enforcement agencies, I know there's a question here about some semantics about a report, but the support has been overwhelming from all of our agencies. We will be, and we have been already, going back and we analyze what have our plans been, how can we improve those going forward. We've been in contact with agencies throughout the state and throughout the nation who want to learn from our experiences just as we learn from other experiences nationwide. So that ongoing process is going right now.
Why wasn't Mr. Joyner armed, and how many other unarmed officers were providing security at the event?
Well, you're talking about a Garland ISD security officer, and they are simply part of the security staffing that is at the event, and they're not part of the Garland Police Department. But there were a number of GISD security personnel at the event itself in various locations.
Who were unarmed?
I don't have all of that information about how many of their personnel were armed and unarmed.
Chief, you talked about the fact that there were fewer than 200 people attending that event, even minus the number of media members who were there. Because of your, and I don't know if I put words in your mouth, how you can speak to it, but the suggestion that there was at least some concern about public safety, that you upped the level of outreach for law enforcement, public safety. Is it, in your view, based on law enforcement information or the organization that was sponsoring the event that generated that kind of level of protection?
Well, I think it's the combination of all those factors. We look at the nature, the content of the event itself and what it was about. We've seen some other threats and indicators and things, actually attacks that have happened worldwide. So I think it's a combination of all of that. Information that law enforcement had nationwide, worldwide for this type of event, and in particular for some of the attendees who have been potentially targeted, or at least nationwide, worldwide, for those kinds of things. So what we looked at is the potential threat that could happen. Again, I'll repeat it and I'll say it again. We absolutely had no information that anyone, including Simpson and Sufi, were targeting this event. That did not exist, that did not happen at all, nowhere. So we combined, our threat assessment was based on the potential because of the nature of the event and those that were attending.
Chief, just one more time to clarify that bulletin. You said it was sent out in an email, and one Garland police officer is in that email chain. He receives a ton of emails. Was it overlooked? Did he see it before the event, or was it not noticed until after?
He was not aware of it until after the event. But again, please keep in mind that if this had been some sort of awareness bulletin, or if the FBI or anybody else had come up with a potential suspect that may have been coming here, that would have come in, that would have come through all of our sources, it would have gone to our command posts, we would have put it out to all of our personnel. Was it an information email, one of many that was sent out on that day, of one of many things that the FBI and all the other agencies were looking at? Absolutely it was, but the Garland detective didn't know the contents of that until after the event had occurred.
So it wasn't an email that said, okay, Mr. Simpson has posted on Twitter or on social media saying he'd like to go attack this event, or he has an interest in the event. There was nothing like that in that informational email.
That is correct.
Okay, with that, we're done.
Thank you.
I will get what he read, I will get for you and bring out to you.